UK Navy warns China Coast Guard after a collision with a Philippine Navy ship near Ayungin Shoal. A Philippine boat and a Chinese Coast Guard ship collided near a hotly contested reef, with both countries trading blame for the latest such confrontation in the disputed South China Sea. The United Kingdom Navy condemned unsafe and escalatory tactics deployed by Chinese vessels against the Philippines over the weekend in the South China Sea. In a statement, Britain's Foreign Office said, the UK opposes any action which raises tensions, including harassment, unsafe conduct and intimidation tactics which increase the risk of miscalculation and threaten regional peace and stability. Both China and the Philippines must adhere to the findings of the 2016 arbitral award proceedings, which are legally binding on both parties, it added. Manila claimed that there was also a collision between Philippine and Chinese boats at the Second Thomas Shoal. Notably, Thomas Shoal is a region where several Filipino troops are stationed on a grounded warship. The incident happened during a Philippine resupply mission to a tiny garrison on Second Thomas Shoal in the Spratly Islands, which is a flashpoint for Manila and Beijing. It comes a day after the Philippines accused the Chinese Coast Guard of using water cannons to obstruct 3 government boats delivering provisions to Filipino fishermen near Scarborough Shoal, off the main island of Luzon. Long-standing tensions between Manila and Beijing over the sea have flared in recent months following multiple incidents involving Philippine and Chinese vessels, including 2 previous collisions. China claims almost the entire South China Sea, including waters and islands near the shores of its neighbors, and has ignored an international tribunal ruling that its assertions have no legal basis. It deploys boats to patrol the busy waterway and has built artificial islands that it has militarized to reinforce its claims. The Philippines said Sunday that China Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia vessels harassed, blocked and executed dangerous maneuvers on Philippine civilian supply vessels. One of 2 boats carrying provisions was rammed by a Chinese Coast Guard ship, the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea said in a statement. A Chinese ship also used water cannon against the 2 supply boats and a Philippine Coast Guard vessel escorting the mission, the multi-agency task force said. That caused severe damage to the engine of one of the supply boats and damaged the mast of the Coast Guard vessel, it said. The China Coast Guard, however, accused the Philippine boat of deliberately colliding with the Chinese vessel after disregarding our multiple stern warnings. The Philippine boat changed direction suddenly in an unprofessional, dangerous manner, deliberately colliding with our Coast Guard vessel 21,556, which was on a normal law enforcement route, and caused a scrape, the China Coast Guard said in a statement. It took control measures against the other Philippine supply boat, which was allegedly carrying construction materials to the grounded warship on which the garrison is located. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos issued a statement late Sunday saying that the country remained undeterred following the latest incidents. The aggression and provocations perpetrated by the China Coast Guard and their Chinese maritime militia against our vessels and personnel over the weekend have only further steeled our determination to defend and protect our nation's sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction in the West Philippine Sea, Marcos said in a statement on Facebook. No one but the Philippines has a legitimate right or legal basis to operate anywhere in the West Philippine Sea. Manila calls the South China Sea waters to the immediate west of the Philippines the West Philippine Sea. Foreign diplomats in Manila were swift to criticize the Chinese actions. U.S. Ambassador Mary Kay Carlson said the United States stood with the Philippines and partners in vehemently condemning the PRC's repeated illegal and dangerous actions against Philippine vessels, using the acronym for China's official name. European Union Ambassador Luc Veron said Sunday's incident was deeply troubling, while the New Zealand embassy said the country was deeply concerned at multiple incidents of dangerous actions towards the Philippines. Hours after the latest incident, a convoy of civilian boats planning to deliver provisions to Filipino fishermen and troops in the South China Sea aborted the trip after constant shadowing by Chinese vessels, the organizer said. The convoy, which departed the western island of Palawan early Sunday, had already changed course to avoid Second Thomas Shoal and go directly to Philippine-held Nanjing Island, where they would leave their cargo. Second Thomas Shoal is about 200 kilometers, 124 miles, from the western Philippine island of Palawan, and more than 1,000 kilometers from China's nearest major landmass, Hainan Island. A handful of Filipino troops are stationed on the crumbling BRP Sierra Madre, which the Philippine Navy grounded on the reef in 1999 to check China's advance in the waters. The troops depend on the resupply missions for their survival. One of the supply boats was able to deliver its cargo on Sunday, while the one involved in the collision was being towed by a Philippine Coast Guard vessel to Palawan, the task force said. Relations between Manila and Beijing have deteriorated under President Ferdinand Marcos, who has sought to improve ties with traditional ally Washington and push back against Chinese actions in the South China Sea. Marcos warned last month that the situation in the waters had become more dire.